Let's go. Time to begin chapter 3 of Brighter Shores.
They're trying to get me. They're trying to shut me down because I'm breaking out of the Matrix and they don't want to hear the truth. Oh, come on.
What's wrong, little one?
My video.
Oh.
Watch my video.
Oh, God.
What's your name?
Pada.
You're quite the fighter, Pada. Come. Let me help you. Look. Pretty, isn't it? Perfectly balanced. This whole...
Oh my god.
Guys, come on.
Perfectly balanced. This whole thing should take too much of one side. The other...
Oh, God.
Concentrate. There. You've got it.
Thank you all so much for your incredible response to my last two videos. And also thank you so much, Asmongold, for the awesome encouragements.
I'm gonna be honest, if this guy had 100,000 subscribers, I'd say that he deserved more, and he has 232. And now he has 18,000. How about that? That's crazy, right? Damn! Definitely feel like it was a good idea to launch it. It was
how about that?
Great video. Wow!
I've really enjoyed the conversations I've been able to have with a lot of you, and the most important thing about this for me is the fact that I'm having so much fun making these videos. Today, I want to dive into something I believe is very important, something that I didn't touch on in my previous videos. I've always believed in challenging my own views, playing devil's advocate against myself, and taking time to look at issues from multiple perspectives. That's
one of the things that I think a lot of people don't do, is that they never try to look at what they believe from the perspective of somebody who is disagreeing with them. Because people think that, like, they're so one-dimensional in how they believe, like, what's true or what's not true, that there's no way for them to even imagine a concept that somebody could disagree with them.
I held off on talking about this. I just really wanted to make sure I approach this topic carefully. I wanted to ensure that I have all the facts straight and that I represent the casual gaming community well. We're diving into a topic that's been stirring up quite a bit of controversy in the gaming world. DEI, or Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. For some, DEI
I promised you guys that I would do the DEI equals die video on the day that I came back to streaming. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, had a lot of game releases. The election happened, so we're a little bit farther behind, but we're going to try to make up for lost time here. Promises were broken. Yeah, what else is new?
Viewed as a positive step towards inclusive environments. However, others argue that it can actually stifle creativity and innovation in the industry. Today, I want to explore why DEI might pose to be dangerous for video games and the industry as a whole. This isn't just a surface level concern. It's a systemic issue that demands our attention and critical thinking. Before diving into its direct impact on games, we need to first understand how it's shaping the gaming industry itself. To start, it's essential to understand what DEI initiatives aim to achieve.
Put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
What's funny to me about saying that is that that's exactly what marketing companies are doing now with them.
Change this.
Now, marketing companies are terrified to be associated with these DEI consultancy companies because of how much negative publicity and negative press it has. So this is a double-edged sword. Like, if you want to appeal to them from just be afraid because we're gonna make things bad for you, well, what happens when the other group of people makes things bad for you? Yeah, it's such a it's such a bad position to have. And the negative money they make. Yeah, exactly.
At their core,
Thank God, no more women in gaming. I wonder why people say my chat's full of incels. I don't know. I think they're probably racist.
these initiatives seek to create inclusive environments by addressing historical injustices and ensuring diverse representation. While I do believe that the intentions behind DEI are often noble, the implications can be quite serious. Many organizations, including game developers, have implemented DEI programs or have outsourced DEI consultants hoping to create more equitable workplaces. However, these efforts can inadvertently lead to divisive environments, where the focus on diversity usually overshadows
What does
other
this say?
divisive environments, where the focus
I've witnessed non-men. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. This is fucking insane. Non-men. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean non-men? How can these people possibly think that it's just insane. Having to prove their gamer credentials to be in the room. Oh God.
on diversity usually overshadows other critical values, like
Also,
creativity.
you call yourself Coven? Do you know what covens are comprised of? Witches. Why the fuck would you call yourself that?
And innovation. While it is important to acknowledge the lasting impacts of discrimination, there are also many examples of individuals who overcome these
Maybe it's the first time they didn't.
obstacles through hard work and resilience. Figures like Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King Jr. championed a vision where people are judged by their character, not their skin color, advocating for equality of opportunity.
I think that there's a lot of people that want to be judged for their quality, but their quality isn't very good, so then they have to resort back to hoping that, you know, they can get some DEI thing, or hopefully, well, you know, let's take me seriously for this other reason. And I think that's actually the reason why a lot of DEI games are bad. DEI games are bad because they can't secure money based off of like the quality of the game, so they add in DEI to secure DEI investment instead because of the lack of actual investment that they can receive. So it creates like a confirmation bias that like more of these games are low quality.
Success is based on merit, not race, gender, or background. Equality of opportunity ensures that everyone has the same starting point and access to resources, allowing them to reach their full potential based on their own efforts. However, DEI often shifts the focus to equality of outcome, aiming to ensure similar results for everyone, regardless of individual efforts.
Well, more importantly, it's aiming to achieve equal results of themselves. Most people's advocacy for these types of things is completely self-serving. I would even argue, and this is going to be a big one, I would argue that most people's political beliefs are completely self-serving.
Shit.
Absolutely. Like there's not a principle to this. There is a what's best for me and how can I work backwards to justify it.
This shift can have significant implications for the gaming
Trigger,
industry
erase
and
it!
beyond. For instance, if game development teams prioritize diversity quotas over skill and experience, they may inadvertently hire less qualified individuals simply to meet those quotas.
Exactly.
This could compromise the quality of the games produced and
I
frustrate.
don't see how it's so weird. Like it's so odd to me because like why can't you just if you're hiring somebody and you're not hiring them because they're good at the job, you're hiring them, you know, based off of like a gender identity thing, then you're doing a bad thing. Like I feel like it's so simple. It's just not logical at all. It's not. I really think that we have a huge problem nowadays where illogical positions are taken seriously. People can be illogical and they will behave in illogical ways, But I really don't like how now in culture we're supposed to accept other people's truth. There is no other people's truth. You can live the way that you want to live, and you can be as crazy and delusional, as stupid as you want to be. But the moment that you come into the public space and you say everybody else has to act this way, you need to figure out the reason why. That's the reason why. It's called postmodernism. I think it's called being a fucking idiot. It's called being a delusional fucking idiot that's trying to tell everybody else what to do. It's annoying.
Both creators and consumers. When the focus shifts from talent to demographic representation, the risk of creating a mediocre, less innovative product increases, as new ideas and perspectives may be overlooked in favor of fulfilling diversity mandates. Historically, movements toward greater equality have often focused on improving access and opportunity, rather than enforcing equal outcomes. Critics of the current DEI trend argue that by shifting to an outcome-based framework, organizations may lose sight of their original goal that so many incredible people have fought so hard to achieve: to provide a level playing field. Moreover,
Imagine that. And also, you're never going to have a level playing field. Like, for example, I realized this in school, and, I am really, really bad at writing. So we had to take, art class, and I just could not fucking manage to do calligraphy. I was so bad at it. I think the best grade that I ever got was, a D, and I was just a stupid fucking idiot. I cannot write for shit. And I was like, well, this isn't fair, right? Meanwhile, we go to history, or we go to anything else where all you have to do is remember something. And I don't even have to study. I remember everything, take the test, get a 100. Problem solved. People are not equal. That doesn't mean that some people are better than others. It just means that each person has different strengths and weaknesses, and you have to leverage those things to benefit you. That's it. D was your target? Well, no. D was the target because I knew I'd get 100 on the test and I'd get a 0 on the homework. Yeah, never do the homework, get a perfect grade on the test, problem solved. It's not supposed to be bad? Yeah, exactly. People spawn with different stats. And to be fair, there are people that are, less talented than other people. And, some people, not everybody has the same amount of talent points, right? But in a general sense, I think that a lot of people do have the ability to compete on at least an average level.
this emphasis on equality of outcome can create a backlash among those who feel that their own hard work and achievements are being diminished or disregarded.
Well, the reason why people feel like their hard work and achievement is being diminished and disregarded, it's because it is. When somebody else gets an opportunity that you in an equal playing field would have had, you've just been disenfranchised. That's what happens. You are now the loser. It's not even a question. It's not about people being unequal. It's about what you value and put your time and practice towards. Deep down, you valued history more. Sure, but there's always going to be things like, so here's an example. I was always really bad at Apex Legends. I tried to play the game and be good at it. I put like 1,000 hours into the game. I felt like I was still bad at it, and I quit the game. There's other games that I play, and I put a lot of time into it, and I get a lot better at the game. So I think really, I mean, there are going to be natural proclivities and natural talents that people have, right? It's pretty simple to say that. And everybody's a little bit different, right? Some people have like more of an interest towards other things or whatever.
Can lead to division within teams and communities as individuals begin to view one another through the lens of demographic categories rather than as unique contributors. In summary, while I do believe DEI initiatives are often well-intentioned, the shift from equality of opportunity to equality of outcome can have significant and far-reaching consequences. In the gaming industry,
the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
This shift risks compromising the quality of creative output and can create division among developers and players alike. I really believe that by focusing on merit and individual potential rather than simply achieving demographic targets, the industry can foster a culture of true inclusivity that celebrates the diverse contributions of all individuals.
It just seems very weird to me that like this is even a topic, because it's like it's so focused on now with games, and it's still a topic because like we have like all these older games that have good examples of this, and then people try to like contrive them for like their own like their own opinions, right? Like, you know, like, oh, Devil May Cry is like a male fantasy. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, what's wrong with there being a male fantasy game, right? Like, and I think like the premise that video games are made for guys and so this is bad, what a ridiculous premise to have. Why is making content for a demographic of people bad? Who decided this was bad? That's stupid. Like, I don't even understand it.
If you have a piece of glass lodged in your foot, it doesn't help for the doctor to just put a plaster on it and call you a bigot for not agreeing with him that this will fix the issue.
Yeah.
The doctor needs to tackle the problem at its roots. And while I do understand and sympathize with the perspective of those pushing for DEI, the reality is that these initiatives can sometimes feel like that plaster, a temporary solution that doesn't address the deeper societal wounds.
Well, it's not a solution at all. And it doesn't even make it better in the short term. It just makes it worse, and it makes people that are... It makes virtue signalers feel like they're doing something special. Like, I'm helping, haha! No, you're not.
Not deny that the push for DEI at its core is often a response to historical and ongoing inequalities and the hurt that comes from real experiences of discrimination. However, we need to be careful that in our efforts to fix these problems, we're not just covering them up superficially. Real
You're not creating the same problem with a different person.
healing and real progress comes from addressing the systemic issues at their core. For me, I believe this means focusing on equality of opportunity,
Exactly. You're falling for it, dude. They push DEI to divide us, not fall for it. Well, here's the funny thing, is that how are we getting divided when it's a bunch of guys around the world that all think the same thing? There's guys in China that think this is stupid, guys in the US that think it's stupid, guys in the Middle East that think it's stupid, guys in Europe that think it's stupid. I actually feel like this has been a pretty much a universal thing that a lot of people have come together to say it's stupid. Yeah, people are waking up. Yeah, I actually think that this has been more of a unifier than a divider.
education, economic empowerment, and creating a society where people are judged based on their abilities and character. With that being said, I strongly believe that DEI is doing a major disservice to itself and everyone it affects. By focusing on metrics like representation quotas or attempting to guarantee equal outcomes, DEI often misses the real issues. It risks creating environments where individuals are seen first by their demographics rather than talents or achievements, which ironically reinforces the very divisions it seeks to eliminate. Rather than fostering genuine inclusion, these initiatives can lead to tokenism, resentment, and a sense of unfairness, where some feel overlooked because their merits are secondary to fulfilling diversity targets. Ultimately,
yeah, I mean, obviously, right? And yeah, of course that's going to happen. Goes against what Martin Luther King was preaching. It goes against what any reasonable person who has had any sort of a long-term effect on the way that people look at social politics has been saying. I'm trying to think about anybody in like history that's like made it their platform that, you know, some people are better than others and like all of this other like weird distorted bullshit. Like, yeah, people really don't think that. And like, yeah, you have like, you know, Gandhi was racist or something like that. But like, that wasn't really like what he was pushing. It's just bullshit. It's a complete distortion.
we should be striving for a system where
It's never
people,
been successful
no matter
ever.
their background, rise based on their effort, skill, and contributions. Anything less undercuts the very ideals of fairness and equality that DEI claims to promote. Now, how is this directly affecting games? As we consider the implementation of DEI
Play
initiatives,
Dragon Age.
we encounter significant risks within the gaming industry. One major concern is the creative limitations imposed on developers. When narratives prioritize political correctness over authentic storytelling, we risk alienating players who seek immersive experiences. A case in point is The Last of Us Part 2, which faced backlash for its heavy-handed approach to social issues, leaving some players feeling that the gameplay experience was detracted by the messaging. And as I mentioned in a previous video,
Nobody wants to be preached to, especially not by some game developer. I think this is also happening with movies and television as well. Like, I feel like really after Epstein, after Weinstein, after Diddy, the last person that I want to hear talk to me about morality is a person who's worked in Hollywood entertainment. That is the last person I want to hear their opinion about morality.
Battlefield 5 was criticized for its focus on diversity in a historical World War II setting, leading to mixed receptions from fans. Again, the way this was done was quite heavy-handed. Instead of
ridiculous. Oh shit, Kirshi, thanks for the raid. What's up, boys? How y'all doing? Hey.
celebrating the incredible real contributions that women actually made in World War II, the focus shifted to portraying them.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. Like my grandfather and grandmother, my grandfather was a pilot in World War II, and my grandmother was a nurse in World War II. But apparently that's not enough for them. They have to have some like, like fucking She-Hulk, woman come in here with like this massive Lucille baseball bat and destroy some guy. Like, yeah, this didn't fucking happen. What are you talking about?
Was done was quite heavy-handed. Instead of celebrating
what is this? It's just such bullshit with a mechanical arm.
Incredible.
Yeah, look at that. It's so stupid.
Real contributions that women actually made in World War II, the focus shifted to portraying them in traditionally male roles, as if it was a more valuable way to recognize their efforts. Games that prioritize social agendas over storytelling can fail to resonate with audiences, hurting both sales and overall engagement. It's crucial that we focus on merit and individual talent rather than identity. Promoting environments where everyone can rise based on their skill and hard work is essential for a thriving gaming industry. This approach honors the principle of equality of opportunity, allowing diverse voices to contribute without being constrained by demographic targets. When we celebrate achievements based on merit, we foster a culture that values innovation, creativity, and excellence over identity politics. An example would be the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows, set in
Ooh, I cannot wait, bro. Like, this game, oh my god. February is gonna go so fucking crazy. Oh my god. Get the popcorn. And this game is gonna be in the Trump era. Bro, Trump is gonna be president. You know what? They might have to cancel the game now that Trump's president, because Trump's racist and he said he didn't want video games with black people in them anymore. I read that on Twitter. Yeah, so they're probably gonna have to get rid of Assassin's Creed. Jeez, that sucks. Yeah, I was looking forward to it. Yeah, he said we can't make them anymore. L. Trump, yeah, I know. What the fuck? Are you banned on the subreddit? Did I get banned onto the subreddit again?
Rich historical context, the game promises an immersive experience. However, some fans worry that DEI-driven pressures could push the developers to emphasize diversities in ways that feel inauthentic to the setting. Instead of naturally weaving diversity into the narrative, there's a concern that these efforts might compromise the historical accuracy and storytelling depth that longtime players expect from the franchise. This tension highlights the broader risk that DEI initiatives can create, producing games that feel more like checkbox exercises than creative, engaging works.
You know what Dragon Age Cinematics reminded me of? Have you guys ever done a company HR training video? Have you guys ever had to like watch one of those? Like I had to go through this before myself. Dude, it feels like that. It feels like watching one of those HR training videos. Oh, God. Oh, you have to do it every year? Oh, God.
DEI is to truly benefit the gaming world. It needs to respect both the diverse talent involved in game development and the authenticity that players value.
Well, what's weird about this is that, like, if you look at, like, a lot of ancient stories, things like with Loki, right? If you go back that far, there's always been instances where like non-gender conforming ideas were present. You look at, like, for example, Elden Ring, Queen Marika and, like, being Radagon at the same time. Is this being trans? Well, it's not a one-to-one, but it's definitely inside of that ballpark, right? And you have, like, Mikola, who's basically a girl, he's a femboy. And so you have all of these different types of gender identity stuff that actually are very representative. And what's interesting is that great stories seem to have this naturally, and bad stories seem to force it in. Zero Moon? Yeah, exactly. It's within the fantasy. Yeah, it's that simple. Moog was innocent? Yeah.
Which is a major player in gaming journalism, has been criticized for its overemphasis on identity politics and DEI-driven content. In recent years, their coverage has increasingly focused on social issues.
They actually have just gone through another round of layoffs. Kotaku is it's going to be very hard for me to say whether it's dead or not, but if it's not dead, it's on life support. It's pretty much dead.
Rather than games themselves. While we all know raising awareness about diversity is important, it is obvious that Kotaku has annoyed a lot of gamers who feel that the platform is prioritizing political agendas over authentic gaming journalism.
Oh boy.
This has led to the loss of credibility among gamers, developers, and content creators who are looking for insightful reviews and industry news, not lectures on social justice. Another prime example of this is Sweet Baby Inc., a consulting firm hired by Ubisoft to handle narrative development for their games.
I do think, I'll say again, I think the entire, what's the word? The entire, like hysteria around Sweet Baby is like they're a reference point, but it's not like they're in there forcing their way into the studio and trying to make people change the games. The developers want them to do this. And they're not like, I mean, this is like this tiny studio. The tiny studio isn't making $50 million decisions on video games, right? They're just a consultant company. But it's really what like that indicates.
Baby Inc. is a DEI-focused company that promises to bring underrepresented voices to the forefront of gaming narratives. While this sounds like it could be a positive step, the result has been that some of Ubisoft's recent games and upcoming games have faced criticism for feeling disjointed or overly politically correct.
I also think that, like, somebody in chat was like, yeah, I'm Persian, and like the guy that like was in the new Prince of Persia game didn't really look like he was Persian. I'm not sure like what the race of Persia really, like a Persian like would really look like. I mean, Iranian is Persian, right? I'm not sure. That's it, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, in Turkey, exactly. And so I feel like it's an Arabic guy. Esfand? Well, Esfand and Train, both of them. And then Professor Kali. I think that's like Train's cousin or something like that. They're all Persian. And so it's weird that you didn't just go with your traditional, you know, Arab guy. Because I feel like that's what people want to see. You want to see, yeah, the Prince of fucking Persia. Absolutely. Like, that's what it was. Like, I didn't think it was a big deal with the new game. It wasn't like something that I would be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go with it. But the old Prince of Persia, like, for example, like this game here. This is fucking badass. I think when people think of Prince of Persia, this is what they're thinking of, right? This is awesome. So, like, how do you mess this up? Persian, yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? Oh, Killmonger hair? Yeah, it was cringe. Like, the game was good, but it's just that it was weird for sure.
Diversity checkboxes over coherent, engaging storytelling. Gamers have voiced concerns that Ubisoft's partnership with DEI-focused consultants like Sweet Baby Inc. has led to games that feel like they've lost their soul, catering to an agenda
they have.
rather than their core audience. In both these cases, between Kotaku and Sweet Baby Inc., we see the direct consequences of DEI initiatives. When diversity is prioritized over narrative depth or gameplay quality, the end product will always suffer, and ultimately so does the gaming experience.
He's right.
I am the crazed CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia who is currently ruining and wokeifying all of the video games that you've ever.
She's seen the videos. Yeah, she's seen the videos. Wow. That's crazy. We've got ourselves an Asmongold TV watcher. How about that?
Played.
One of the frustrations with how DEI is often implemented in gaming is that it can feel condescending, as if the people pushing these mandates assume that gamers like me lack the intelligence or critical thinking to engage with complex social themes on our own. It sometimes comes across...
I disagree with that. I think that the reason why they come off as condescending is because the people writing can't actually write a story that explores those complex themes in a way that's authentic. And the only way that they can incorporate diversity into their stories is in a ham-fisted, tokenized, and patronizing way. I think that's really what's going on. I think they're just very bad writers. Because what's really interesting to me about this is that, like with Rainbow Six Siege, like you have like this character here. I'm sure we all remember, like in like Metal Gear Solid, like the new one's coming out very soon, right? The remake. Like there is one part where you're fighting this this sniper, and he's so old that if the fight goes on long enough, he just dies. Straight up. The end, yeah, he just dies.
Yo, what's up, boys? Welcome to Steak and Eggs, episode 75.
5 left.
Ooh, man.
5 more episodes till the end of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, 20,000 likes on this video.
You're really going to start it off.
Yes, sir.
Shit. Okay.
20,000 likes on this video,
God.
and we do a gym special where Asmund, Emmy, and myself go to the gym with our special guest, Canute, and our special guest, Aram. If you're still here.
Yeah, I think I should be able to be, yeah.
Well, with the $50,000 that you won, beating every other, 998 other streamers to win OTK's top streamer, which is crazy because you were eliminated.
During old school RuneScape's first few years, a player named Wilson held an iron grip on the game's rarest items. With a fortune worth $40,000 on underground markets, Wilson had a monopoly like no other, before he was mysteriously banned. What happened to Wilson's account and its fortune? I think the answer will surprise you. Our story begins in early 2013. By now, Wilson had been playing RuneScape for about 10 years. During this decade-long RuneScape career, he had not only maxed out all of his skills, but was nearing the ability to wear a trimmed completionist cape. A cape that can only be obtained by quite literally completing the entire game. Wilson was also a very accomplished merchant. For those unfamiliar, merching, also known as flipping, is the process of buying an item at a lower price and selling it for a higher price. Some flips can happen within minutes, while others involve holding on to items for weeks or even months, waiting for the right moment to sell. By buying items and flipping them for higher prices, he was able to earn enough money to purchase one of every rare item in the game, which is no small feat. By now, Wilson had accomplished just about everything you could in RuneScape, and spent most of his free time merching party hats for massive profit, but he was about to have to start over completely. In February of 2013, Jagex launched Old School RuneScape. To many players' surprise, any of the progress you made on the original version of RuneScape would not carry over to Old School. Everyone who wanted to play it had to start fresh. With a brand new economy, there was the potential to make some serious profit early on, but Wilson was already behind. He started playing the same day the game was released, but not at the exact time it launched. By the time he logged in, 50,000 other players were already online. Some had taken the approach of picking up valuable items from spawns around the world to try and make money. Others focused on leveling their skills, while most had no idea what to do. Wilson was surprisingly part of that last group. Despite his success in the original version of the game, he had no idea what he was doing, and surely didn't know that he would soon become one of the game's wealthiest and most famous players ever seen. Just as you might not know about Ultimus, he's a villain even more powerful than Thanos, and you can discover his story in Marvel Strike Force. Marvel Strikers in PvP mode days, with more constantly. You can also unlock Zombie Iron Man using the limited time promo code Halloween. Celebrate the spooky season by using the promo code Halloween to receive 100 shards for Zombie Iron Man, 600k gold, and 480 L2 training modules for free. After finishing Tutorial Island, Wilson kind of just became a jack of all trades, training every skill in the game equally while giving his favorites a little extra attention. By the end of Old School's first month, he had achieved 1,337 total level, with most skills sitting at around level 50. His most notable achievement at this time was probably reaching level 65 Runecraft. With runes in high demand, he was able to earn himself a nice stack of cash to do what he was best at, merchanting. Except this time, things were different. When Old School RuneScape launched, there was no grand exchange. All trades were done the old school way, player to player. So from day one, he was on the RuneScape forums trying to make deals. And just like with the original version of RuneScape, he was very good at it. After his first month of playing, Wilson would put the Runecraft grind on hold, to instead focus on Herblore. Today, Herblore is an extremely expensive skill to train. The vast majority of training methods lose you significant amounts of money. But the game was so young at the time that high-level potions were in serious demand, but very few players could actually make them. He opened up a thread on the RuneScape forums called Wilson's One-Stop Herb Shop, where he would coordinate trades of various Herblore supplies. He functioned a lot like a real NPC-run shop. he could always be found in one spot, World 338 West Fairrock Bank. He would camp out here for the entirety of his second month playing Old School. Wilson shot to make at least 50,000 GP profit per trade, and actually did so very successfully. In between trades, he would train Herblore, and by the end of his second month, he would achieve level 99. Throughout the next few months, it was business as usual for Wilson. He would continue to train his skills, mainly those that could be trained in or near a bank, and flip items, watching both his total level and bank value grow. That was until October of 2013, when Jagex introduced the God Wars dungeon to Old School Runescape, an update that added a handful of new, powerful, desirable items. When it was announced, Wilson changed his strategy. He spent the month prior to the update training his combat stats and stocking up on supplies in hopes of receiving one of these items. The first few days of its release, he did nothing but kill the bosses inside the dungeon. After all the weeks of training and his dedication to the grind, he received a grand total of 0 unique drops. Along with this, he had also wasted millions in supplies. After this, he would understandably give up on bossing, and went back to his tried and true moneymaker, merching. He was disappointed, of course, but God War's release did bring a bit of a silver lining for a number of reasons. First, God Swords were introduced to the game. By buying God Sword shards, smithing them into blades, and selling them, Wilson quickly earned over 100 million gold in just a few weeks. He also tried his hand at flipping the newly released armor pieces and weapons with moderate success. Additionally, items like enchanted diamond bolts and cooked Karam wands were in high demand, items that Wilson now had the levels to produce himself. But competition for all these items that Wilson was crafting, cooking, smithing, and merching were at an all-time high. Wilson's top competitor, a player named Dimmons, would obtain most of the raw materials needed to do all of this in bulk from bot farm owners, whereas Wilson refused to do so. He didn't want to support the botting industry, so he would attempt to source all of his materials from real players. This was extremely difficult to do, and he could have made a lot more money much faster if he worked with bot farm owners, but he took the most admirable approach in my opinion. Fast forwarding a bit to about 9 months after Old School's release, Wilson's bank was now sitting at a very respectable total value of 1 billion GP. Despite the huge success he'd had so far, Wilson would soon have to change his strategy when it came to merching. Wilson had achieved level 99 in all the skills he could train at a bank, and as a result, would spend much less time in one place. This made merching high volume items like skilling supplies much more difficult to do. Instead, he would shift his focus to low volume items, such as Third Age equipment. Third Age equipment can only be obtained by completing clue scrolls, and is extremely rare. At the time, they were the most expensive items in the game by far. Although their stats are only about as good as Rune, their main purpose is a lot like designer clothing, to show off wealth. Wilson would have a great deal of success merching Third Age equipment. As an example, he once purchased a Third Age wand for 200 million gold, and just 2 weeks later sold it off for 450 mil. The years of merching high value items like party hats in the original RuneScape paid off, because Wilson was very good at merching Third Age, but he would soon have to make a large change in his strategy once again. In February of 2015, the Grand Exchange was released into Old School RuneScape, a trading system where players can buy and sell just about any item in the game. Now, Wilson had about 1 billion liquid gold that he could use to start flipping here, and thought that Third Age would be the best investment of his money. As I just mentioned, Third Age was extremely rare, maybe even rarer than you're thinking. When Wilson bought and sold that wand I mentioned a few seconds ago, only 3 of them were known to exist in the game. So he poured all of his money into these items, thinking that they might sell out, but he was wrong. The demand for them was lower than he expected. The items that actually did sell out were PVM items, like Elysian and Arcane Spirit Shields. These items were rare, more useful to the average player than Third Age, and highly valued by stakers for gambling at the duel arena. So Wilson sold off his Third Age and began flipping Elysians with great success. He got lucky as during the first few months of the GE, Ellie's rose about 50% in price, and along the way, Wilson had grown his cash stack to an astounding 5.5 billion gold. The only people who had more money than him were duel arena stakers, and most didn't hold on to their wealth for long. With all this extra cash on hand, Wilson once again wanted to try his luck with Third Age equipment. The melee set was his favorite gear in the game, and the Third Age longsword specifically caught his interest. It's not known exactly how many longswords existed in the game at this point, but less than a dozen would be a very safe bet. Wilson would buy out any and all longswords that came into a price range that he liked. He would then try and sell them back for around 100 to 200 million GP more than he paid. Given how much cash he had and how many he could hold on to at one time, he had great success with this as well.
He's my neighbor. I get the third-age lawn sword. He cannot afford. Great success.
As Wilson grew his cash stack even further, he would begin to hoard third age items like melee plate bodies and plate legs. And in just a few weeks, he single-handedly forced plate bodies to rise from 91 mil to 125 mil, and plate legs from 107 mil to 145. By now, he was developing a significant stranglehold on the third age market. All at the same time, he was still rapidly progressing his account, and just 2.5 years after starting Old School, was only 30 levels away from reaching the maximum total level with a 12.3 billion GP net worth. At this point, Wilson was just too big to fail. He had the money to manipulate the price of just about any item he wanted and had very little competition. Over the next year, it was once again business as usual. Hoard and dump high-value items, train skills while waiting for flips to complete, and get rich faster than ever before. As the months passed, Wilson was able to manipulate third age longsword prices so high that they were now valued above max cash, meaning they could no longer be sold on the Grand Exchange. This would lead to what was then the largest flip in Old School's history. He sold a third age long that he had purchased for 2 billion gold to someone else for 4 billion. By now, Wilson had hoarded the majority of third age longswords in the game. If you wanted one, you'd likely have to go through him, which meant you were paying whatever price he asked. Approximately 3 years after Old School's launch, Wilson had maxed his account and now had a jaw-dropping net worth of 46 billion gold. But now, Wilson had run into a new problem. Just like with the original version of RuneScape, he had more or less beaten Old School RuneScape. With not much left to do, he would stop merching and focus on other areas of the game instead. He'd begin fighting bosses again, pet hunting, and played Deadman mode on an alternate account. But perhaps the most dangerous activity he got hooked on was staking at the duel arena. Wilson began gambling billions of gold at a time here, and luck wasn't in his favor. He managed to lose a significant portion of his fortune in just a few weeks there. He would soon tweet this: "I've always been against gambling, and am disappointed with myself for compromising my morals and ever starting. I will never gamble again." I should mention that he posted this on April 1st, but I don't think he was joking. He was very disappointed, but I think he couldn't control himself as he would continue staking after this. I think that losing so much, in a way, motivated him to keep going to try and win it back. Luckily for him, he actually would, and quit staking entirely soon after. But once again, Wilson was bored. He actually wanted to take a break from the game for a while, but for some reason couldn't bring himself to do so. Instead, he would keep pet hunting, playing Deadman mode, and when the Last Man Standing minigame launched, he got hooked on that. He was even rank 1 on its high scores for a bit, but I think it's a lot like those videos that come out every time there's a new league season, where the title's like, "I'm rank 1 in RuneScape's newest league," for the 5 minutes I logged out to update the high scores and grab this screenshot. I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone, honestly, I just think it's funny. Anyway, Wilson was still bored, and in early 2017 would step away from the game to play other games like Hearthstone instead. But then, out of nowhere, Wilson's RuneScape account got banned. He would make a post on Twitter explaining that while he was on a break from the game, his account was hacked, and the hacker sold off his roughly 40 billion GP fortune. Jagex thought it was Wilson who sold the gold and then banned his account. Pretty tragic, right? Except most players didn't believe him. Longtime fans claimed that Wilson was always extremely paranoid about account security, and that he must have sold the gold himself. After all, based on black market prices at the time, Wilson's fortune was worth an insane $40,000. This hack happened when he was supposedly on a break from the game too, right? After more or less completing everything it had to offer, it all seemed a little too convenient. But soon after Wilson announced his ban, Jagex unbanned him. It turns out Wilson was telling the truth. It also seemed that getting hacked motivated him to return to the game and rebuild his account. And in the following months, he would spend a lot of time doing so, even managing to earn himself a twisted bow drop from the Chambers of Xeric before quitting again soon after. Although Wilson has since disappeared from the RuneScape community and has new hobbies like Magic the Gathering and chess, he was an incredibly influential player for his time, and what he was able to achieve was beyond impressive, and really makes me want to try merching again. Check out the video on the right, all about Elvmage. He was RuneScape's most famous PKer until Jagex caught on to the scams that he was pulling on his fans. But they messed up really badly with his punishment.
Let's see.
Window, that's a
lampshade
bottle or bag that's got teeth. What is this?
Yeah.
What is this stuff? There's a blanket. I can see that in the printer.
Okay.
That sucker had that ink.
That's a binder.
One time they used it once, and that was it.
That's all anybody uses printers. I see it, dude. Nobody prints more than like 3 things ever.
There's a big problem with printers, by the way. Big printer is at the bottom of a lot of things. Like you have to have certain cartridges that go in certain ones, and there's one, I forget, someone was talking about it online the other day about how you like even have to like have a subscription to print after you buy the printer. It was it was like a subscription for ink for the printer. Yeah, it's like they're made bad on purpose.
That's crazy.
And like the ink dries, if you have a printer, you don't use it for like a month, right? Because you only need a printer like once a year, really.
Yeah.
The ink dries up and you can't like get it, like you may get the wet rag and warm rag, try to get it to move again, but it doesn't work. Then you got to go buy another cartridge, and that's like
same price
$100. Yeah, because you gotta get the 2-pack because you can't get it by themselves, and they're all putting like the plastic so no one can steal them because, dude, I hate it. Just printing like whatever. But in Australia, and I'm sure there's places like this in America too, to where you just like email your documents to like the company has an email address. And it gives you like a code back, and you go to the place, put the code in, and then it'll print off what you emailed to it, right?
Really?
So you just go to a company. Yeah, it's like kind of like the same thing as like an Office Max or stuff like that. I think it's called Office Works here. But either way, yeah, you just take it down there and get it printed off, and that's like screw printers. Devil, literally the devil.
Well, the rat crap on the fireplace. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh. Watch your head.
Like they're just saying like all the super obvious stuff they can. Oh, watch your head. Oh, that's a fireplace. That's rat crap. Oh, goodness gracious. This place, that's a spot on the wall.
You want to venture into the hallway there, Tone?
You're literally in the hallway. What are you talking about?
Right.
Check it out.
Dude, they're at the ceiling already.
This place would be so cool to play hide and seek in. No one would ever find you. You would just die in here.
Yeah.
And no one would ever know. Is that a massive Santa Claus came to this house, Dane? He never made it out.
Oh yeah.
There's his bag right there. There's his legs sticking out.
At least somebody was good there.
I thought a lot of the stuff would have been cleaned out by Michelle. She's had a lot of time to get to it, but obviously it's probably too big of a job for her, and she might not be even capable of cleaning it out.
You expected her to clean this up for whatever. She
Well, it
sold
took
this
her a
place and she
lifetime
just
to make it.
She just dipped immediately. Like, all right, see ya. I ain't cleaning that up. Later, nerds.
Sold it.
She can still get used to the toilet. I have to go to the bathroom.
Anyway, using that toilet.
Oh, that's the toilet.
I think. I can't tell. It's
Unless
really
there's
far
like
away from the
another.
wall.
I was gonna say there's another toilet in the room with the toilet. That's crazy.
Is there a microwave in here? Warm your food up while you're on the
Taking a
toilet.
slam, yeah.
Like an avalanche. Whoa. Check out our microwave.
Yeah, microwave.
Disgusting. Look at that.
Oh yeah, it's got rat poo everywhere. Oh, but she's got that Swiss. What's it called?
Oh, hot chocolate.
Yeah, those Swiss. You got the old Swiss Miss up there.
Yeah.
At least she's. I've never seen it with the
With that person.
creepy lady
Man.
over there. Yeah.
Yo, do you remember when Domino's had the creepy dude?
Domino's?
Yeah.
Domino's. Hang on, wait, did
He looked just like that, but it was a dude.
Yeah, the Noid. I do remember this.
Yeah.
He was in some video games.
Yeah, he had a video game. I was gonna say.
It was awful. Just like, oh my gosh. It was back in the day where, goofy, goofy, crazy dudes.
I don't know why. She reminded me of him.
But the best mascot for pizza ever.
Boy, that's the man.
This dude right
there.
here.
Pizza.
Pizza right there. Yeah. Get that pizza, man. Anyway, back to rat poo.
It blew my mind that someone could actually live like that, because I would much rather just pitch a tent in the backyard and live in a tent than live in, something like that.
That's how eloquently spoken.
Yeah.
He rambled on just about as much as I do. I could pitch a tent in the backyard, and then go live in the tent in the backyard than live here. Yeah, he could have just said, I'd rather live in a tent in the backyard. And the whole concept. Anyway.
That must have been her bedroom.
Roomy in this one.
Flies, look at the flies. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah.
Some Crisco over there? What is it? Maybe it's. What is this stuff? Is that Axe body spray? Or is that like a. What is that?
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Like a little tower?
Pepper. Black pepper?
Is that pepper? You think it's pepper in there?
I don't. Yeah, is what it used to be, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, little hand sanitizer. Good,
There
good,
we go,
good. Yeah, there we go. It's all good now.
Looks like all the doors and trim will have to be replaced. We're gonna have to get this place completely gutted, and we're
Jesus Christ! I mean, if they just come in here and replace the trim, and that's all they did,
right?
The next people that live in here, they're gonna be dead.
I think it'll be a total miracle if we could get that place cleaned.
Yeah, you're an investor. Like, why would you buy this place?
Yeah.
It must have been free. Hey, we got a show. You want to come be an investor?
Could they knock this down and rebuild something else cheaper?
I don't know. It depends on, I don't know, the cost of the land itself.
Okay.
It depends. Like how much they added on top of it just for having a structure built on it. I don't know. When was this made? 4 years ago? Maybe they got it before. It's probably recorded before that. But they bought it in the last couple of years. No way. They might as well just live here for the rest of their life. They don't get to afford anything else.
Hope no rat crawls up and bites me. Bites you in the butt.
What was that? Oh, I thought there was like mushrooms growing. That's like a giraffe. His feet are stuck in there.
Okay, got you.
Knowing that there was all
What
these
happened?
Yeah, well,
It,
why
like
the
played
music?
like the horror game music all of a sudden. Like you just got
Jump
like you're playing
scared.
like a horror game and like a jump scare happened that you didn't even see. And you're like, what?
Yeah, wait, what happened?
Why did I play the music? What happened?
I was very uncomfortable in the house.
Oh
That
gosh!
freaked me out right
Oh god! B-roll footage of rats running around this corner. Oh, he got my leg. Oh, it's in my suit. It's killing me.
And then another big one came running across behind it. They did the Godzilla.
It's Godzilla. They found him. Bigfoot's in here. Oh my god!
That dude wasn't running. That dude's dead. What are
Grabbed
you talking
one and
about?
Pulled it out. Look at. They over here like,
I
oh,
hate
rats are freaking
Here,
us out.
let me pick one up.
Yeah,
Here it
look at
is.
this one. Where?
Okay.
Fresh, man. It's not even. That was just asleep. It's just like.
Get out of here. They're popping out from every corner and from under everything. We could be walking on them.
I just love like they're trying to create this sense of like urgency. Like, oh God, get out of here. And they're just like goes back to them just both looking around the room again.
Yeah, I know.
Walking on them. And
Millions.
sitting on them. So
Like even the way like he's moving like sporadically, it's like they were like filming like, all right, like act like I don't know, there's rats around you, and you're looking around, you're so surprised right now because he's like, Okay. Nice. The outside is. Maybe they didn't have to do a walkthrough, Dan, because they just saw the back porch here and were like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I see that. I'll buy it
Well,
for
you know,
sure. I
You know what's
definitely
going
want to
on.
buy
You know,
it.
good thing. Got your little thing over here where you can pick up, things off the ground. Don't need it. This is the power of the house right here. What's that going? Just got an extension cord randomly.
What was the exterminator caught a bunch already? I don't know. I'm gonna talk to the exterminator. I want our money back. Yeah.